What's up, guys? Sharkeatyoshi here, again, bringing you another battle from the, I almost said June International Challenge, February International Challenge, because last year we did have a June International Challenge, and hopefully we have more international challenges. But anyway, guys, me screwing up that intro, I'm going to be showing you a very interesting team, as you guys can see here. It is super interesting, and I make a lot of mistakes in this battle, which, to tell you the truth, I should have just easily defeated my opponent, but I made so many mistakes, which is good to make mistakes because it shows that you're human, and it shows that you will learn. But in theory, my team should have just decimated his team, but he played it well. I made ton of mistakes, and you're gonna see what happens. So anyway, my opponent is running a sand team, as you guys can see there. He's running a Hippowdon, an Excadrill, a Ferrothorn, and last but not least a Gastrodon. The other two Pokemon, which I remember correctly because is the reason why I brought Sylveon, was his dog, which was Stoutland. I love that dog. That dog has a mustache. Just saying. And a Mega Sableye. So that's the reason why I brought Sylveon. But to tell you the truth, I should have not brought Sylveon. It was very obvious that he was not going to bring those two Pokemon because Sylveon just has a really good matchup against them, and he has two Steel-type Pokemon that can just deal with Sylveon very well. In theory, I should have just brought in Suicune, because Suicune Ice Beam and then, you know, Tailwind and all this other good stuff. It just does work against his team, and even though he does have Gastrodon, I can just Ice Beam it and hope to get a freeze and get chip damage off and, you know, all this other good stuff. But I didn't. I think I was scared of the Ferrothorn, and to tell you the truth, now that I think about it, I should have brought in Heatran. I have too many threats for Heatran to not come out for free. But anyway, guys, you just had a very strong team, so that's why I think that's the reason why I brought Sylveon. But in the long run, the first three Pokemon are my win conditions. But anyway, you already know my team. I'm not going to talk about it. You've seen this so many times. So let's go ahead and get started with the battle and see what happens. It's a very interesting battle, and I make two very key mistakes that I'm going to point out pretty soon. So my opponent is going to go ahead and bring in his Hippowdon and Excadrill, while I'm going to go ahead and bring in my Landorus and my Kangaskhan. So very obvious leads here. My opponent already knows what's going to happen here. I do get the Intimidate off on the Excadrill. -1 in attack stats. Kangaskhan is out here for the fake out pressure, but I'm not going to keep him in here, or her in here, too long. My opponent is going to go ahead and bring in Ferrothorn, and I'm going to go ahead and switch out into Rotom so I can go for the easy EQ, as you guys can see here. I know that EQ is going to do a decent amount of damage to these two Pokemon, even though they are defensive bulky, and they can somewhat resist it. Well, they're just bulky, let's just say that. But they do a pretty decent amount of damage to the Ferrothorn and to the Hippowdon. Surprisingly enough, this is an Adamant 252. The Landorus got rid of the jolly one. I wanted to do more damage. So my opponent is going to go ahead and bring in Gastrodon, switching out his Hippowdon, knowing that Hippowdon is going to put in a lot of work against his team, or he just wants the sand. I'm just going to say he just wants the sand. So right here, I do get a pretty high damage roll into the Ferrothorn. One more hit and it's gone. I do miss the Will-O-Wisp, which really does upset me, to tell you the truth, because you guys are going to see that the Muddy Water that my opponent is going to use right now is going to knock out my Landorus. And I did some calcs. If that does not have any investment in special attack, which I don't know if they do, it should not have knocked me out, but whatever. It doesn't matter, you know. But I do get the Will-O-Wisp off right here, since I know that the Ferrothorn is going to protect this turn, knowing that my EQ did so much damage, and it will knock him out next turn. So he does get the Muddy Water off. Luckily enough, he does not get the defense drop. I mean, the accuracy drop, because that would have just even nerfed more of my Will-O-Wispiness. But he does knock out my Landorus, which was one of my win conditions, because as you guys saw, I was doing so much damage to all his Pokemon, to tell you the truth. So I'm going to go ahead and bring in Sylveon. He is going to go ahead and protect with his Gastrodon. Smart play by my opponent's part. I do go for the Will-O-Wisp right here, predicting a switch out. Because, you know, Ferrothorn just walls out my team. I thought he was going to switch out. He doesn't. I go for the Hyper Voice here. Thought he was going to switch out into one of these two ground type Pokemon in the back. He doesn't, sadly enough. He does get a critical hit onto my Sylveon. So pretty much the burn was really for nothing because he still did a ton of damage to the Sylveon. If he didn't get a critical hit there, maybe it would have been different, but I thought he was going to switch out. That's why I didn't go for the Thunderbolts and to knock it out. In actuality, I think I should have went for the Thunderbolts, but I don't know, to tell you the truth. I do not know how it worked out there. I think, to me, that's a mistake by my part, but I don't know. He does go for the Iron Head onto my Sylveon. Of course, he wants to knock that thing out as quickly as possible. I am going to get the burn off right here, knowing that Ferrothorn is gone. I don't have to worry about anything. Right here, he goes for the yawn, which I never seen ever. That is a freaking awesome tech. That is a pretty cool tech. Knowing that I have only 2 more Pokemon left and I have no Pokemon to switch out, he can just yawn me to death. So right here, I am going to go for my Mega Evolution and go for the Fake Out onto the Gastrodon slot because I do not want to get yawned again. That's pretty funny. I do go for the Hydro Pump here because I know that even if he goes for the yawns or not protect, or he does the Iron Head as you saw there, if you protect with the Gastrodon, it really doesn't matter. Excadrill doesn't really do any damage to my Kangaskhan, so I wasn't really worried. So, and maybe the burn would have knocked out the Gastrodon. Actually, it wouldn't have, but you know, it would have done some damage. So, you know, whatever. His Excadrill was burnt. So Hippowdon is gonna come out, and my Rotom went night-night last turn. I am going to go for the Double Edge, which is a terrible move by my part because I forgot he had Sand Tomb. I thought I was going to knock him out, thinking that the Adamant was going to be enough to knock him out. It wasn't. This thing is built to bulk. He goes for the Sand Tomb, and right here, I end up losing my Kangaskhan for free. Yep, for free. Because the Sand Tomb and the Sandstorm are going to do residual damage, slowly doing residual damage. And I think Sand Tomb lasts for 2 turns, and then after that, it can cut off. I think, I do not know, because not everybody uses Sand Tomb. Actually, hardly anybody uses Sand Tomb. But I should have went for the low kick to do damage. He goes for the protect. My Rotom does wake up, but in theory, I should have went for the low kick to do some damage. Thus doing less damage to myself. My Kangaskhan will survive at least 2 more turns, and then I can go for the Double Edge next turn because he will have to slack off. If my Rotom didn't wake up then, it will wake up. It will have a higher chance to wake up next turn. My Kangaskhan will still be healthy, and I still had more chances to hit the Hydro Pumps. And even if my Rotom didn't wake up, it still had its Citrus Berry up. I think it still had its Citrus Berry. Yeah, it still had its Citrus Berry, and you know, I can just slowly whittle down my opponent because he really can't do anything to the Rotom. So terrible play by my part. Almost cost me the game. If I would have missed the Hydro Pump there, it would have been a lot different. But luckily enough, I do squeak it out. Made some questionable mistakes here. My opponent had a freaking awesome team. These other 2 Pokemon was a Stoutland and a Mega Sableye, if you guys wanted to know. But anyway, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. More live battles coming. If you guys enjoy the live battle commentary, don't worry, that will be coming. Right now, I'm just doing a lot of the international challenge since I have them. And commentary videos are a lot easier than doing live battle videos because you gotta kind of psych yourself up. And at the same time, for me, it's hard for me to think and to commentate at the same time. I suck at multitasking. That's just, yeah, I suck. But anyway, guys, hope you guys enjoyed this video. And until next time, guys, I'll see you guys later with more battle videos. Bye, guys.